It's an everyday thing. It's an everyday thing. It's an everyday thing when you let your nuts hang. Okay, this is part one of how my brother went crazy and killed our mom. First episode that my brother had was my mom got a call from my auntie where she stated that my brother was down at her house acting a little weird and crazy, and he was saying things that she's never heard him say before, and he is basically saying that he don't want to be alive anymore and he's done with life, and she needed to come down there. So me and my mom went down to my aunt's house, and when we got down there, we was trying to figure out what was going on with my brother, but they had already called the police and the ambulance for him, which they was trying to get the ambulance to take him into like the mental hospital to see what's going on. And my brother is just wailing out. He's just saying all type of things, and then I'm thinking that his intentions was to get the police to shoot him because he kept reaching and he kept being very aggressive with the police officers, and the police officers were saying they didn't want to hurt him. They here to help him, and they was trying to do their best to, not take and be so aggressive with him because they know that something was wrong with him mentally. So they end up taking him into the hospital, and then what they did was end up releasing him the next day because they just said that they felt like he was high and he just was coming off of a drug, so they released him. And then we had another incident, like I think it was like a few weeks later. My mom called me and was like, get over here ASAP. She was like, I don't know what's going on with your brother. He has his baby mama in the car and he's driving crazy. So I get over there, and when I get over there, my mom lives on the main. She lived on the main street, and it was so many people outside. It was police there everywhere, and my family was there. We trying to see what's going on, and I get there. He had his baby mama in the car, and he was driving crazy with her in the car, talking about he's going to kill everyone in the car and all these things. And then some way my brother got in the car because they found out he had a knife. So my other brother ended up getting in the car. I don't know how he hopped in the car because I wasn't there. I had just got there. When I got there, they said he was in the car, and it was scared because they thought he was going to stab my other brother in the car. So my other brother was trying to fight to get the knife from him, and some way they followed out, and he ended up getting a knife, and my brother the car ended up running into my mama's yard and stopped, and the police officers ended up snatching him out the car, and it's blood everywhere. And both of my brothers ended up getting stabbed. So he didn't mean to stab my other brother, but they was fighting for the knife. So when they was fighting for the knife, it sliced my brother. They got in the car trying to take the knife from him. So the police end up getting him, taking him in, and trying to get him help. They end up putting him into the hospital port where, the mental people was at. And when we went in that car, because his baby mama was so scared because his daughter was in the car as well. So she was so scared, she didn't know what to do. And we get in the car to help her like clean it out. It's puddles of blood. So he done stabbed himself up and hurt himself. And there's puddles of blood in the car. So we had to like take the mat. And when we took the mat, the blood was so much blood, it was like leaking out like water. You know how you leave your windows down and water gets in your car? That's how much it was. So then we're thinking that they're gonna keep him, but we get a phone call the next day for us to come pick him up. He needed a ride, so we go and pick him up, and we like, what the hell? How did he even get out the next day? So like they say, he's on a drug and he's coming off of his drug. So we like, okay, all right, it's second incident, but okay. So then it's just current back to back. So then there's another incident. my mama calls me. She stayed calling me because she was going through hell with him, because he had lived with her. Him and his baby mama was living with her in her basement, and they was staying in her basement for a long time. They was in her basement for like 4 years in her basement, and he went crazy out of nowhere. So it's like it just went completely out of nowhere. So this next incident, my mom calls me and was like, I don't know what's going on with your brother. He's looking out the windows thinking someone's after him. He keeps saying they coming, they coming. He keeps looking out the window saying they're coming to hurt him. And she said he hasn't took a bath in days. He stinks. He's walking around with no underwear on, no socks, just shorts on, and he's walking around outside, and I'm thinking that he's trying to hurt himself. Can you come over here? And I was in the mix of, my mama was in the mix of going to a wedding. I was going to a baby shower, and my brother was going on a date with his daughter. So we all was dressed up, like we all was. So which was weird. We all three going somewhere and you doing all this. So we get over there. We're trying to see what's going on. Like, bro, what's going on? What's wrong? Like, what can we do to help you? And he's keeps looking sideways, because my mama, where she lives at, it's like a main highway street. And it's like a main street where it's just traffic all through there. So he's looking like he wants to hop in the street. And we like, get away from the street. Come on over here. Because we're getting scared, because we like, wait a minute, why you keep going towards the street? Why you not talking to us in the yard? Like, why are you right there? So come on over here. So we get over there. We get him, and then some way we end up getting him in the car, because we want to take him down to the hospital so he can get help, because we know something's wrong. So we end up getting him in the car. We get him in the car, and we're trying to go get him help. And so we're talking to him. He keeps looking around all crazy and looking. His eyes is all bucking. I could have swore his eyes was black. Like, he didn't look like himself. He wasn't even there. He was someone else. And he was like, we was like, you want some food? You want a cigarette? He wanted a cigarette. He smoked them cigarettes. When I tell you, my mama just had bought that pack of cigarettes. He damn near smoked the whole pack of cigarettes. She bought him food. He didn't even eat the food. We ended up taking him to the hospital. We went in there. We had to damn near beg him to get into the hospital. We like had to prep talk him to get into the hospital. We finally get him in the hospital. And when we get him in there, he's like looking at us like we like just let him go like a sad puppy we just let off in the street. And then so next thing you know, that he's fighting the people, and we like quit resisting, and he's give something to my brother, and we like, what is this? And we looked, and it was like a little piece. And I'm guessing that it was drugs, because previously, you know, my brother's in the streets. He did his own thing or whatever. Before he even went, you know, start going a little crazy. He was doughboy on top, street dude. Like, you know, he's looking out for me. This is my brother who I call, who's gonna always look out for me, giving me the latest Jordans, giving me money, looking out if I need anything, my kids, everything. He's him. Like, he's in the streets, he's making money. And for him to give him a piece, like, it's a personal piece. So we looking like, is he on drugs? Is he taking these things? Is this what he doing? And so we like confused, because we don't know. Like, we said previously, we kind of think that he tested his own shit, but we didn't know. But then when he gave him that, I was like, that's a personal. And I told my mom, I said, Mama, that's a personal. That's his, what he was using personally. That was for his use. And she was like, you think so? Yes, Mama, it is. It got to. Even my other brother, he was like, yeah, Mama, I think so too. So she was like, I'm going to ask him when I talk to him, are you on drugs, and was these the drugs for you? And I'm going to ask him. So he had the little piece, which we knew that was like a personal piece. The personal piece was, you know, a usage of him, you know, because, you know, my brother was like a doughboy. Like, he was out in the streets, like, whatever I needed, if I needed anything, like Jordans, clothes, shoes, anything for my kids, I can look to him to help me. That was that brother. And then for him to just flip script like that was mind-blowing. And we knew what you was used to, you know, working with out here in the street. So we know what is and what ain't. And I told my mama, I thought that he was using his own products, in which I believe that he was, because he had that little piece. And I told my mama that was a personal thing. You know, even my other brother, he said the same thing. So she was like, she was going to ask him when he got out or whatever. So that was that. She ended up asking him when he got out, because they ended up releasing him. Which they said he was coming off of a drug like the other times. So we ended up going to pick him up. He went back over to my mama's house. She ended up asking him, and when she asked him, he said that he wasn't on drugs or whatever, which we know that was a lie. Come on now. So then we end up getting another incident happen. So my mama called me. This one's the big one. So this one right here, she called me. She's crying, historical, on the phone. Now she get over here. Come over here. Your brother, and he just set himself on fire. And I'm like, what? So I get over there. Not to me. My mama lived on a main street. Remember that? And it was so much traffic on that street. So I get on her street. I can't even get on to where she lived at, because it's blocked, like the traffic's bad. So I have to park my car and then walk down. So I walk down. It's police, ambulance, fire truck, everything over there. I'm like, what the fuck? So it's people getting out their cars looking. They wondering what's going on. I walk up over there. My brother's in the yard, and he got a cover over him. And I'm like, bro, what's going on? What's wrong? And next thing I know, he drops the cover. And when he drops the cover, his skin was peeling off. His skin was literally peeling off. Like, peeling. It was pink. And I'm like, what the fuck? So coming to find out, he went in the backyard and got some, so he goes in the backyard and gets my mama's lighter fluid, which was in the back, and sprays himself with the lighter fluid and sets himself on fire, which his baby mama said that he had a knife too. So I guess he was planning on killing himself. So he either was going to kill himself with a knife, or he was going to set himself on fire, and he was going to run in the street and let like a semi hit him. So she said she seen him on flames, and she took a cover and she wrapped, you know, she stopped, drop, and roll with him so the flames can go out. And he was on fire from the waist down. So he didn't have any skin. So the ambulance is trying to get him to, you know, get on the stretcher. When I tell you, he walked to the ambulance truck. So we all shocked, like, what the fuck? So he must be in shock. So that's what that was. He was in shock, and he walked to the ambulance truck himself. So then they end up putting him on the stretcher when he walked to the ambulance truck. So they end up taking him to the hospital. So we all scared. We don't know what's going on. They rushed him into the hospital, did his little surgery on him, because he's got third-degree burn. Like, they didn't put him in the burn unit. So all our family's up there in the waiting room waiting to see what's going on. We upset. We don't know. My nerves is bad. My mama's nerves bad. Mine, we don't know. So then come to find out he's going to be okay. So they end up letting us go in the room to see him. When I tell you we went in this room to see him, it was just like a black room. Like, his eyes was black. Like I mentioned the first part. It didn't even seem like that was my brother. My brother was gone. It wasn't even him no more. Like, I felt like I lost him. Like, it wasn't him in that room. Like, we just felt like I was in a room with a demon. And I didn't like that bad energy in there, that spirit. So I made sure he was okay. And I had to get out of that room because, like, it wasn't it. So then he stayed in the hospital. They had to keep him in the hospital for a while. So I was going back and forth to the hospital, make sure that he was straight, giving him food, anything he need. My mama, she didn't leave. She was 10 toes down. Like, she stayed with her son. Like, she wasn't letting up. She wasn't leaving. They had the priests come there, you know, the priests that be at the hospital and stuff. They had preachers coming there, people praying for him, everything, trying to make sure that he's straight. So my mama didn't leave. Like, she was there from sun up to sundown. Like, she even got sick. My mama was diabetic and she had thyroid. So she got to the point where she was getting sick because she was there all night. Girl, go home. Mama, go home. He's gonna be fine. That's what I had to tell her. Like, he got nurses here. It's okay. But she didn't want to leave her son. So they had to do like a surgery on him. They did like that surgery that they never did before on him, on anybody. It was like a skin graft surgery, and they put skin on him. And when I tell you, these doctors did they big one on that, because that skin looked like that was his skin that he grew, and it looked good, but you had to take care of it. So he ended up he was in the hospital like for like 3 to 4 weeks. He had to go through therapy again to learn how to use his legs, his private, everything. Like, he burnt all that. Like, he had to learn again. Like, he fucked his bones up, all that. So my mama was taking him to therapy, giving him his medicine, bandages, everything. Like, she was his nurse. Like, she was doing her big one for her child. And she didn't let up. And she was like, I don't know, y'all gotta help me because this is hard. And I understand that it was hard, but like, mama, you have to take a break for yourself. That's what I kept telling her. She had got sick or whatever, and that was that. So then she ended up telling his baby mama, you got to go, because she was staying at her. Remember I told you that they was in her basement staying for like 4 years. She told her she had to go, so she ended up having to leave because, baby girl, you getting pregnant down here and everything. She ended up getting pregnant. So, girl, it was too much. Like, you got to go. So she ended up telling her she had to go, so it was just my mama and my brother there. So my mom was taking care of him or whatever, and we was thinking that he was getting better, because shit was getting better. Like, he was doing good. Like, he was like in the room where he was doing good again. Like, he was mingling with his nieces and nephews again, having, talking, saying his prayers, going to his therapy. He ended up, going to see a therapist or whatever, and they doing the Zoom stuff, because this was during COVID too. So they ended up doing the Zoom therapy and stuff for him and stuff too. So we thinking everything's fine and everything's good. So then, mom was taking care of him. I'm making sure that everything's straight. And then it's like everything was good. Then it's like I got a phone call from at work, and she was like, I don't know what's going on with your brother, and I don't know what's going on with your brother. He's mad that I made this post on Facebook. Cause all she did was she reshared this post where it was like, if you don't like it, you can hit the road jack, and it was like a Tweety Bird, and it was just like a little quote, and she just reposted it. So I guess he thought that was towards her, and which wasn't. She said it wasn't. She just reposted it, and he got mad. And he got mad that she reposted that, and he was walking around with an attitude. So she was like, I can't do this by myself. Y'all gonna help me with him, because I can't take this. He's walking around not taking showers again, and he's not eating. So I guess he was going back downhill. And then, see, he was getting to the point where when we came over there, like, he stopped coming out the room. He was sitting in the room in the dark, because it got to the point where my mama was like, she had told him, like, share your story on Facebook, because my brother never had a Facebook or social media or anything. He never had none of that. So mom was like, well, maybe your story will help somebody else out, because we thought he was getting better. So she was like, go on Facebook and, like, tell your story. So, like, he would go on Facebook Live, and he was just, like, be in a dork talking. And he would be in that dork just talking, saying all kind of stuff on these lives, like, that didn't even make sense. And then, like, we wasn't really paying attention to him like that, but we was. But I felt like if we was paying more attention, he was in that room, and he was just in that room in the dark going live, and I just felt like it was just bad vibes after a while. He went downhill. He wasn't on his spiritual journey no more. He was just like on some demonic shit after a while. Like, you can feel the bad vibes, especially when you're a spiritual person. You can feel that bad energy, and it was all in that room, like right there. It got to the point where the kids didn't go in that room no more. I didn't go in that room and check on them no more because I just felt the bad vibes. I felt it. Especially, I'm spiritual, and I felt it. So he stayed in that room in the dark. He wasn't even taking baths no more. He was barely eating, all that. So then it was like he was making them videos, and he was like, how can a mother do this to their child or whatever? And then it's like my mama was so upset. She was so scared, really, of him. She was sleeping with her doors locked, knife underneath her pillow. And I got to the point, I'm like, Mama, why are you in this house with him with your doors locked and a knife underneath your pillow? She was like, I don't care. That's my son. I'm not turning my back on my son. Okay. I was like, I understand it, Mama, but it's your safety that you got to worry about. Because if you in your own house, sleeping with your door locked, your bedroom door locked, and a knife underneath your pillow, you're scared of him. You're scared that he's going to do something to you. You need to put him in a home, like a mental home, like something that can help him, because you can't help him only so much. She didn't want to do it. That was her firstborn. She didn't want to turn her back on him. It was that. You can only say so much to your mama for them to listen to her. I'm like, okay. So, go back to him doing them lives, and he's saying, how can a mother do this to their child? He was so resentful to my mama with his childhood. He blamed everything that happened bad to him in his adult life on my mama. He used to be so nasty to my mama. When they got into it, calling her bitches, whores, sluts. She's the reason why he ain't got his daddy in his life. Like, he was so resentful of him not having his daddy in his life and put it on my mama. He used to, like, pick a difference of his relationships with his siblings. Like, he wasn't, like, resentful towards me, like, because I was a little sister. But, like, my other brother, like, he would be resentful toward him, like, because me and my other brother, we had shared the same daddy, but him, he didn't have the same daddy as us. Like, he had different daddies than us, and, like, he would, like treat outsiders more better than he did his own brother. Like, even his cousins, he would treat them like brothers than he did his own brother. Which, I'm not saying they didn't have a good relationship, but I felt like you wasn't more brotherly to your brother because you didn't have the same daddy as him. And my daddy was in our life. He tried to be in his life, but he was so resentful towards him. He couldn't. You can only do so much when a person don't want you around, and you ain't gonna force it. So that's what my daddy did. But, you know, you can't get mad at us because your daddy wasn't around, but that's just how he was. So let's go back to the day that, you know, my mama had found that post. Post that post. So the next day, I had a phone call from my mama, and I missed it. So, I called her back, and she didn't answer. So I was running late. So I was getting the kids ready because they was going to go over her house because it's COVID. So, school and daycare was closed, and my mom was out of work because of COVID. So I'm getting them ready. I'm running late. Usually she'll call me and be like, oh, Nisha, y'all still coming? What y'all running behind? But she didn't call me, so which was weird because she always called me. So I got them ready. I'm pulling up over her house. I'm getting them to hop out the car because I'm about to pull off. I'm about to ski out of there because I'm late for work. Usually that's what I do when I'm running late. I have them hop out the car. I know she gonna open the door, so I'm about to ready pull off the driveway. So when I'm about to pull off, she's not answering the door. So I'm like, are y'all knocking? They was like, yeah, we knocking. So I had to get out the car. I started knocking on the door and calling her. She ain't answering. So I knocking on her window because her window's right next to the door. So she's not answering. So I'm like, okay, that's weird. So I tell the kids to get back in the car. So the kids get back in the car. So I didn't have to call in because I ain't got nobody watch the kids. So we pull up back at the house. So I keep calling her. She's not answering. So I call my brother. I'm like, you talked to mama? He was like, no, I ain't talked to her. I talked to her yesterday. She couldn't find her keys. I'm like, okay, that's weird. I said, yeah, she called me too. I missed the phone call. So I was like, he was like, you think she went over her boyfriend? So I was like, no, because her car's outside. Because her car was outside. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, no. I was like, I don't think so, because he ain't got no car, so how you gonna come get her? So, I was like, okay, that's cool, because my brother was at work, so I got off phone with him. I'm still trying to, see where she is, so I ended up tracking her phone, because I got all her passwords and everything for her phone, because I set her phone up. So I track it. The phone says she's at home. So I'm like, okay, that's weird. Her car's at home, and she's at home. So then, I was like, man, where the fuck is my mama at? So I starting to get worried. So I called 911. I'm like, okay, I don't know where my mama is. I said, she's not answering the phone. I said, the phone says her phone's tracking to her house and her car's at home. And then I said, I know her and my brother got into it last night. Not too bad, but he got a mental problem and he had an attitude with her over a post. And then she was like, I was like, y'all can either meet me over there or y'all don't, but I'm just informing y'all because I'm about to pull up over there and go in the house. So they was like, we'll have a dispatch go over there, police go over there. So then my daddy ended up calling me because I guess my brother called him. He was like, you about to go over your mama's house? I was like, yep. He was like, all right, I'll meet you over there. I'm about to pull up over there because my daddy lived down the street from my mama. So I pull up over my mama's house, me and the kids. They in the back seat. I told them sit in the car. I get out. I'm trying to open up the windows because I don't got my key, because the week before she asked to use my key because she got locked out of the house. So I'm trying to open up the windows. I couldn't open up the windows. My daddy ended up pull up. He trying to get in, couldn't get in. So we go around the back because she got a sunroom. We going in. I said, Daddy, the door's probably locked. My daddy go to the door's wide open. I'm like, okay, that's weird. So we go in. There go to the kitchen. So when you go in, there go to the kitchen. So I'm like, Mama. Daddy's like, Tracy. So we going through. I go to the living room. In the living room, I go a chair with stuff stacked on top of it and the couch pushed up to the door. And I'm like, what the fuck? That's weird. So I'm like, okay, I paused and looked at that, but my daddy's going towards my brother's room. He skipped my mama's room because their rooms is right by each other like this. So he goes in my brother's room, and then I go in my mama's room. And I'm like, Mama. And her bed's made up. I'm like, Mama. And there's 2 specks of blood on the... Oh, Lord. Bear with me, y'all. It's 2 specks of blood on the it's 2 specks of blood on the cover, and I pulls it back, and when I pull it back, my mama's covered in blood. Blood's everywhere, all over the curtains, all over the walls, all over the place. And I think I passed out. My daddy grabbed me, pulling me out the room. Some way I breaks out of my daddy's hands. And I'm telling y'all just how it happened. I breaks out of my daddy's hand. I runs out the house. I takes my jacket off and run down the street. Because remember, my mama lived on the main street. I run down the street and I'm screaming. I am terrified. I just lost my mama. I know she's dead. So much blood in her, she's not moving or nothing, and I fainted. I just knew it. The way she was, it didn't even look like her. After I found her, I ran down the street and I lost it. And I had my dad had came out trying to help me, and the kids are still in the car too. And so they don't know what's going on. I'm just lost for words because I just found my mama dead and filled up with blood. So the police and the ambulance is there. They end up going inside and, trying to see what they can do when they went in there. And they come back out and I'm like, she's dead. And they was like, well, we can't say if she is or not. And I was like, I already know she's dead because you didn't come out with her on the stretcher. So as common sense, if you didn't come out with her on a stretcher, then she's dead. And I was just lost for words. And it was pouring down raining. When I say pouring. And when I ended up calling my brother, my family, everybody, aunties, I didn't call him, but my daddy did, and everybody got the word. I called my brother and told him. I broke down I didn't even know how to tell my brother. Like, it was horrible. And everybody ended up showing up, and like I said, my mama lived on that main street, so traffic was just at a standstill because everybody was just so shocked, because my mama was very known. Like, my mama was a traffic guard in the city. She worked for the police department, so she was a traffic guard, and she also like was traffic guard for like schools and stuff, so she knew so many people in the city, not to mention that she was just known in the city. She was very, very known. So like people slowing down, they stopping, like it was so many people at her house. And even the reverend came, like, for our church. He ended up coming. I don't even know how he got the word. Like, the word traveled quick. And police came, and they was like, do you know who did it? And this is homicide ended up coming. And I was like, yeah, it was my brother. And he was like, how do you know it was your brother? And I'm like, because her car is gone now. Remember I said her car was there? Now her car was gone when I end up coming back. So I don't know if he was still in the house or not. Like, her car was gone when I end up coming back. So I'm like, I know it was him. Like, it had to be him. Like, her car's gone. Like, it was here first, now it's gone. And then he's the only one to live here with her. Like, it has to be him. So they like, okay, so we're gonna put an alert out for her car. And they was asking me the model and the make and the description of the car and what my brother looked like and everything. And I had told them, so they put an alert out for him. And then, all the police officers, they knew my mama. Because, like I said, my mama worked for the police department. So it was like one of theirs. Like, they just died. So all the police officers and homicide, everybody that came, they was giving their condolences because they knew my mama. So they was hurt too. So they went in there and they was like, yeah, your mom, they family announced that she was dead or whatever. And I was like, well, I had already known. And I was devastated, like lost for words. And it's pouring down, and it was like, you all can leave if you want. I'm like, no, I'm not leaving. I'll wait until I see y'all. I wanted to see my mama leave the house. I did. I wanted to stay, and I stayed. My whole family stayed. We stayed in the rain, and we waited. They had to wait, for the people. I forgot the name of the people that come to check the body and stuff. And they had to wait for them to come. And not hospice, you know what I mean, but they end up having to come. And then they check her, and so they can name what was the cause of death and stuff. And then they was saying she had her last vows and stuff. They had to wait for all that and stuff. And they end up was telling it took a long time. They had to do like search the house and all the other stuff. It took hours and hours, and we waited outside. And they end up while we was waiting, they end up telling us they end up finding my brother downtown. They found him because my mama had this was right before Christmas, so my mama already had all her Christmas stuff. She even had her Christmas tree up. She already had all her presents underneath the Christmas tree for everybody. And she had gifts in her trunk too for her grandkids. So somebody had said they seen him at the store, and he was trying to sell some of the kids' gifts in the trunk, because my mama had I know she had got one of my sons a scooter for Christmas, and he was trying to sell this scooter for gas money because he didn't have any gas money. And he took and went to another store, and I guess he ended up selling it, and he ended up about to get some I guess he ended up getting some gas. So then they ended up catching him at the Taco Bell down the street. And they called him, and one of the workers had said they thought that it was a woman in the car, because they thought that the person had a wig on. They could have swore that the person in the car had a wig on, but when he got out the car, he didn't have the wig on. So I'm like, what was he trying to act like my mama in the car? Like, didn't even make sense. So they ended up getting him and locking him up, and he's saying that he didn't do it. So like, okay, that was that. And then so we still waiting at the house and waiting for him to bring her out. They end up bringing her out on a stretcher, and I just lost it. When I say I lost it, it was just devastating, because like, this is my world. my mama's like my best friend. Like when I say my best friend, I talk to this woman every day. Like there was no day I wouldn't talk to my mama. Like we talk about everything. Like when I grew up, like I used to didn't, you know, I was a teenager, I didn't like bump like my mama. I used to bump heads with my mama. When I got grown, we was like this. We even went out together. We went to the clubs together. We went to bingo together. We went everywhere. Like, this is just like, that was my last. Who would have known that that day before was my last day seeing my mama? But at least I got to see her. And I kind of wish that, you know, I could have helped and prevented something like, because that was the reason why she was calling for the keys. She was calling for the keys because she was trying to, you know, lock her door. And she probably locked her door and he unlocked it with the keys. He took her keys and unlocked it and came in there and killed her. And, you know, I was just devastated with, you know, my mama's gone and they told us that, you know, don't nobody come clean the house. We had to book somebody to clean the house. And I don't know why my daddy went in there. My daddy went in there, y'all, and cleaned my mama's whole room. Like, cleaned it to the seat. I don't know why my daddy did that. Yeah, we could have booked somebody to clean that room, but my mom and my daddy was really close too. They was really good friends. And he cleaned that room. And I wish my daddy would have never cleaned that room because that scarred him. It really did. It, like, messed him up, like, in the head when he did it because there was so much blood everywhere. And he cleaned that room up, and I don't know how he did that. Like, because she got killed on her bed, on her mattress. And it was just horrible. Like, I was scared to even come back in her room. I mean, in her house, to even clean the house up, to, like, take everything out the house. It took me a while to come back in there. I had to wait, like, a few weeks to go back in there.
Yeah, some, her and her mom.
The man accused of murdering his mother last month pleads not guilty. Kendrick Kennemore is charged with killing Tracy Kennemore, who worked for LMPD. In mid-December, police found Tracy Kennemore dead from obvious blunt force trauma inside of a home on Cane Run Road. Her son was found driving her car and was questioned and released. But police say they were able to tie Kendrick to the crime through evidence collected at the scene and from DNA found on his clothing. The judge says he has a long criminal history and increased his bond to $500,000.
New tonight, Kendrick Kennemore, the man charged in the murder of his own mother, is facing new charges after police say he tried to strangle another man inside Metro Corrections. According to the arrest report, Kennemore was on camera seen punching and kicking the other man and then attempting to strangle him before corrections staff broke up the fight. Earlier this month, prosecutors charged Kennemore with the death of his mother, Tracy Kennemore, a longtime traffic control officer with Louisville Metro Police. Kennemore had entered a not guilty plea in Tracy's death and is being held on a $500,000 cash bond. Now he is also charged with attempted murder.
Got into the newsroom. Louisville Metro Police arrested a man telling us that they have evidence that he killed his mother, Tracy Kennemore. This is the victim. Police arrested Kendrick Lamar Kennemore. It happened on December 16th inside of Kenmore's home on Cane Run Road. At that time, police did find Kendrick was driving his mother's car, they say, and police interrogated him, but they released him. Police collected more evidence, and they say they found Tracy's DNA on Kendrick Kenmore's clothing. He's now charged with murder, domestic violence. Tracy Kenmore was a longtime member of LMPD's traffic unit.
What to do, everyday people, man? It's your boy PJ. Today we back with another lit video, back in the confessional, and yes, we staying lit, big dog, man. Shout out to my everyday people who rock with me every day. Shout out to my player partner, Lucky Wizard Deals. He keeps it lit. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe to this video. Let me know what y'all think about this in the comment section. Hit the links down below. We got HiveMindLabs.com where you can unbig that back, get that super fat burner, that protein powder, or use the Opulence Scents, man. Go ahead and get you a 3-wick candle. Let's get into it, big dog, man. Terrible situation. Shout out to the Solo Dolo. Very beautiful lady. Send our condolences to her and her family on this tragic situation. Solo Dolo. It's Solo Dolo something. Maybe just Solo Dolo Fancy on TikTok. Tragic situation. She told the story earlier this year. This is a situation I believed, I don't know when it happened. In 2021. This happened in 2021. So, but he was actually tried to kill a man in 2024, attempted murder in 2024, so he got new charges. So he's been in the county jail for some years now, going on 4 years, because this happened during COVID, as she stated in the video. Crazy situation, man. Mental illness is a real thing. It's a real thing, and you know, I don't know what we're looking at right here is a court docket from his actual last charge of strangulation in the 1st degree, and the criminal attempted murder and the actual murder. So those are things that this was from January of 2024, about a year ago. So pretty much he's gonna probably get life in prison if he's not put into a mental asylum. There's a picture of the brother. And this is just all 3 of them. This was before the brother went crazy. You know, I mean, terrible situation, man. Terrible situation. You never want to see this happen to your family member. She lost a lot of weight. She must have been taking them super fat burners because she lost a lot of weight. She, you know, she was thicker in this picture. She's still thicker than a Snicker, but she has a flat tummy at this point. So shout out to her for losing weight. But another picture of him with his probably, I assume, his children. Yeah, man. Again, you never know what's going on in people's minds. When you do find out, it's like hard to explain to other people, like, this is not the same person I grew up with. And then when you look at most people, when they like put them in the insane asylums and stuff like that, those people don't really want to take care of your family. They really just want to give your family members back to your family, like to the family. Like they don't really care to take care of them. They want to get in and get out. So they don't really have the same compassion you do for your kid, your family member. They want to be like, okay, you know, I think they're healed. I think this and that. And you know, like something's up until something bad happens and you like, oh. And I don't even think you can sue the hospital for negligence because it's really not their fault that all this happened. But they do have some fault because not helping y'all. But again, that's why people need to have insurance because, you know, I'm just saying, I don't know what it might be insurance that pays for the, you know, the medical treatment of somebody who's clinically ill and you have to get them diagnosed and then you have to get them institutionalized. And I know it takes a lot to get someone institutionalized. It's not just easy because like as soon, like, trust me, I know I got a family member that's just like out on the street, just out of it because we know he's going through some things mentally, but the people in the institute, they don't think that he's a threat to anybody, not even himself. So when they don't feel you as a threat to anybody, which is crazy because setting yourself on fire, stabbing your brother, like these instances, you would think that's enough to say that a person is clinically incompetent and cannot, and is a public danger. You know what I'm saying? You would think that they would say that, but like again, they don't have the same compassion for your family members because sometimes family members be just trying to dump off people on people. You know what I'm saying? And they just be like, no, we can't just care for your crazy family member because if they took care of every crazy person, you know how full the place would be. I mean, I remember one time it was a group of bums. We see them all the time outside the 7-Eleven, right? And you know, you see them all the time. They cool. One's always throwing a fit. One's always cussing a lady out, whatever. And it was funny because we was, you know, younger and we was like, oh, that fool crazy. He cussing out his woman again. Hey, man, you ain't gonna tell her to give you some coochie, man. They be like, but we not knowing that this fool is really insane. Well, one day, I don't know, months go by. We're like, hey, what happened to the? Oh man, he killed that woman. He went off. He did that to this, that, and the other, and killed her. Yeah, I'm like, damn, that's crazy. You know, but we knew he was crazy. But the people, you know, the people in the like. Oh, speaking of, like, I remember being in prison. And it was so many people that was crazy in there for dumb shit. Like, they would literally give them, like, 15 years. I'm like, bro, you've been doing 15 years. And they like, yep, I've been here 15 years. And they just dumb as hell. Like, so you stole something out of Family Dollar and you got 15 years. Boy, they railroaded your stupid ass. But in the whole time, that person's crazy. And you know, mentally they don't got it all, but they competent enough to know right from wrong, but they still crazy. And instead of getting them the help they need, they put them in prison, and that's all they was gonna do to him. And they was just they just needed a reason to put him in prison, cause it'll be cheaper for the prison to take care of him than it would be for the insane asylum to take care of him. And then he could potentially hurt one of them people. So that's how they see it. Like, they really don't care about your family members, honestly. So everyday people, man, thank you guys for watching. Let me know what y'all think about this in the comment section. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. I'm gonna holler at you later. Peace.
Day and night. For some women, it can start working in as fast as 1 week.